Hey everyone, this is Jen and you're watching BPD Shorts. This is today's second episode. I'm catching up on the last week that I didn't post any videos, and I put out a video earlier today, so I hope you had a chance to enjoy that. In this video, I'm going to talk to you about how I deal with boundary pushers. Ooh, boundary pushers. We're also going to talk about how you can deal with boundary pushers and what obstacles you may face in standing up for yourself. Let's get going. My name's Jen and you're watching BPD Woman. Again, if you haven't already, would you please like, share, subscribe? The button is just right there. Do me a favor, join us and please join the discussion. Well, boundaries are hard for those of us with BPD or other emotional dysregulating disorders. Why? Because we are inbred with a lot of low self-esteem. We constantly second guess our emotions, our feelings, our intents, other people's intents. Our mind is constantly at work asking ourselves, is this okay? Is that okay? At least for me it was. And so worry and anxiety can really take over, and you may find yourself in an effort to avoid dealing with that kind of anxiety, giving in to other people's wants and needs. Never saying no, always being the yes man. You get the idea. Perhaps think of a situation you're in right now. You know, oftentimes people find these situations at work where they might feel even another barrier to speak up because they're in a subordinate role, or maybe you're in a supervisory role and you have a subordinate and you need to tell them something or to fix something within the dynamic. Or it could be something, you know, out of a friendship or a relationship that you're not getting, you know, perhaps you always are doing the grocery shopping and you want the roommate or your partner to pick up half of the grocery shopping trips, right? But you don't ask because you think that that might upset the peace or the balance. But the thing here of what's important about asking for what you want is that it builds your self-esteem and it creates boundaries and it teaches other people how to treat you, and it also filters out the people that you don't want in your life that have been consistent and are consistent boundary violators. So I've done some other videos on how to speak up like a pro, get what you want. I've talked about am I allowed, asking for what you need. So please check out those other two videos. And they can expand on what I'm talking about in today's video. So using a real world example, one of my examples, let me break this down. I have a pet sitting business and I have reoccurring clients, and then I have ad hoc clients. And I've had this business for about 3 years now, and I've been very consistent. And all I really ask from my clients is, one, that they pay on time, and two, that they say thank you every now and then. Pretty simple, right? As a reoccurring client, your time is held all week for that particular slot, whatever that may be. For this particular client I'm talking about, she wanted a 20-minute visit Monday through Friday, and she was also using me for other various last-minute trips and things of that nature. So she asked to be put on the reoccurring schedule. I explained to her what the process is. Invoices go out on Sunday. Payment is due by 5 p.m. In my welcome packet and all my other materials that are accessible to all of my clients and online, it simply states that if you are on a reoccurring schedule, I ask that you pay on time and respect my boundaries and my time limits. Why? Because I'm setting off that time for you. And if I'm setting off that time for you, then I'm not available to other people at that time, which means I have an opportunity to lose money. So in my policy, it says if you are late 2 times paying me of a reoccurring booking, I will remove you from the schedule. So I have a very good client that I have a pretty good relationship with, and she's been a client for some time now. She recently was introduced to another person, a friend of a friend. So she hasn't known this person very long. And she referred me here to walk her dog. And so I haven't been doing this very long. I would say only really within the last 3 months, 4 months. So a pretty new client. Off the bat, her communication skills have been pretty lackluster to me. I have not received a lot of thank yous. You know, she isn't very contrite when she should be contrite. And last week, instead of paying me at 5 p.m. on Sunday, I received a payment 1 a.m. Monday, right? So the next day, she texted me, oh, you know, the dog's not feeling well. If you could look out for this, this, and this. And I wrote back, not even acknowledging that at first. I did the thing that I recommend you do when somebody violates your boundary, which is to address a boundary violation early. Why? Because you need to not set a precedent that people can get away and repeat this kind of behavior over and over. Because if you let them do it once, then they're going to do it twice, 3 times, 4 times. And then the longer you let it go, the more resentment that's going to build up, and the harder it's going to be for you to reverse that behavior. And so it's just not a situation. So it's best to catch boundary violations early and to ask for what you need and correct that violation early. Perhaps you've been corrected by being late for work, or perhaps, you know, you've been on your cell phone in class and there's a no cell phone policy, right? I'm sure that you were probably told that rule, and then, you know, perhaps if you didn't follow that rule, there was a consequence for it, whatever. So last week I said, I received your payment. It's due 5 p.m. Sunday, or I give away your booking. I said, this is how the reoccurring bookings work, okay? Okay, I got it, acknowledged, thank you so much. 1 week later, today, guess what? No payment come and went at 5 p.m., even though invoices went out at 9 a.m. And now I can feel within me tension and anxiety, my stomach in knots, you know, this thinking of, who does she think she is? You know, why does she think she can disrespect people? And I don't take any of this personally. I also want to make that very clear. Most boundary pushers, it's not about you. It's about what they can get away with. It's all about them. It's about that person. It's not about you. It's not about, you know, punishing you. I don't think she's doing anything to me, because that wouldn't make any sense. She's the one that needs the service, right? So again, at 5:30 today, I still haven't had a payment, and then I get a text from her, and all it says is her window still available? Meaning her dog. Is her window still available? And I've already addressed a violation boundary last week. So now that this is happening again, we have a real problem. I have a real problem with that, especially now that my business is picking up and I've been having lots of requests for business. I am no longer in a place where I can be even marginally flexible with this policy, because it means other business might, you know, escape me. So I wrote back, I said her name, and I said, I was very clear about this policy last week. It's due by 5 p.m. I said, this is just how it works. I said, the spot is available, but my policy is that too late payments, I am no longer available for reoccurring service. And I said, if this happens again, I will no longer be able to service the dog. So again, I reinforced the boundary. I told her what the consequence was, and I told her professionally that yes, I was still available. So she is not contrite. In fact, she ratchets up her disrespect and her attitude. And this is what she replied to me. I don't see how I am violating policy. If I reach out to you and the spot's available, and you want the job, then you book. I respect your boundaries and consistencies, but that always doesn't work for clients. Let's try again next week. So I wrote back, it's called respect. And none of my other clients over the last 3 years have had a problem with this. And the ones that did, I had the same exact conversation with them. So I'm sorry that this is a problem for you, but you're going to have to find another caretaker. This is how I respond to boundary violations. I tell someone first, which I did last week, this is not okay behavior. Then when it comes up again, I give them one last warning, even though I was even doing her a favor by giving her a third warning, because she was a referral of a existing client. And when she was not contrite, and when she did not acknowledge or respect that, then I ended that relationship. There are plenty of other opportunities out there. And in fact, when one door closes, another one opens. And within 10 minutes of telling her I would no longer be her dog walker and she would have to find help elsewhere, I had a request come in from a new client and we're setting up a meeting, and the exact money that I lost out of that week from the girl that I will not be walking for anymore, it's literally the exact same amount. See? So again, that proves my point that if you're holding a time or you're staving off something, you could be losing out an opportunity elsewhere. Addressing boundary violations is not easy. It takes a lot of self-esteem and confidence in yourself. And you have to, when you're communicating this to people, you cannot, look nervous. You can't make apologies for what you're asking for. You can use a dear man skill if you want, or you can use the give and fast in interpersonal effectiveness in the DBT module. These are skills that are built for helping you stand up for what you want, or also making a request to ask for what you don't want, which is what I was doing with this person. You'll also have to be prepared that people aren't gonna like that. They're not gonna like that. When you put up a boundary, they generally don't like that, but then when you tell them that you're out, sayonara, peace, I'm out, son, they're gonna be even angrier. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. But this is a business, and at the end of the day, I know I've made a wise-minded decision. Why? Because I feel settled with my decision, and I've stuck up for my boundary, and I've stuck up for myself. And I didn't kowtow to anyone else. And frankly, I don't want to work for people that don't give me the same amount of respect and courtesy that I give to them. So she's happy to go to someplace else. That's how I deal with boundary violators. Leave me a note below. How do you deal with boundary violators? Is it hard for you to stick up? Do you find that putting up boundaries is difficult, or is it easy? Can you give me some examples of some situations where you've tried to set some boundaries and tell me how that worked? My name's Jen. You've been watching BPD Woman, and until I see you next time, be effective. Bye.